The cameras flashed. The crowd froze.
Yeah.
I mean, we have seen red carpet debuts before, but when Katy Perry finally dresses those Justin Trudeau romance rumors, it is just an entirely different level of spectacle. A vintage white gown met a classic black suit. And just like that, Hollywood had a brand new obsession. Welcome to Starscope Report.
Yeah.
Join Jordan and Jamie as they uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
It is an absolutely fascinating collision of worlds today. We are unpacking a really massive stack of sources, ranging from entertainment articles to serious political commentary from the Walrus.
Yeah, quite a mix.
Exactly. Because we have to trace this unlikely headline-dominating romance between a pop superstar and the former Canadian Prime Minister. We're looking at how it happened and, more importantly, why.
Right, so whether you are a pop culture junkie who loves analyzing red carpet body language or, a political junkie wondering what happens to world leaders when they leave office, you are going to want to stick around for this. We are breaking down the timeline, the intense public backlash, and there's this psychological theory about their attraction that is genuinely going to blow your mind.
It really is wild. But to understand how we arrived at this huge red carpet spectacle, we have to look at the breadcrumbs, because this wasn't just some sudden chaotic leak.
No, it was super calculated.
Right. It started back in the summer of 2025, July 2025 to be exact. There was a reported sighting of them walking a dog in a Montreal park.
Montreal, which is, that's Trudeau's home turf. It's a highly controlled environment for him.
Exactly. And later that night, they were spotted dining at Le Violon, which is this very upscale, chic neighborhood spot.
And what's crucial about that Montreal sighting is the behavior, right? They didn't sneak through a back alley or demand a private, lockdown room.
Oh, not at all.
The sources report they were incredibly visible. They engaged with people. They personally thanked Chef Danny Smiles and his staff. It's that perfect PR alchemy where you are highly visible, but you're behaving like completely down-to-earth, normal people.
It was essentially a trial balloon, just testing the waters to see how the public would react to them together.
And clearly, the balloon didn't pop.
Nope. So they moved to the next phase. December 2025, we get the Instagram hard launch during a trip to Tokyo. But all of that was really just a rehearsal for the absolute coronation that happened on June 8th, 2026.
The Tribeca Festival.
Exactly. The world premiere for her concert documentary, Katy Perry, The Lifetime's Tour, live from Paris.
Oh my gosh, the visuals of that night were staggering. You have Katy stepping onto the red carpet in this incredible 1987 vintage Lanvin white halter neck gown. It has these delicate rose appliques. It's flowy, it's Grecian. It just screams legacy icon.
And right beside her is Justin Trudeau, looking totally subdued in a classic black suit.
Right, just holding her hand, letting her completely dominate the frame. And they were packing on the PDA. But here's what I find so interesting. It's the social media banter afterward.
Oh, yeah, the Instagram comments.
Yeah. Trudeau posts, "What a special night. So happy to be by your side, Katy." And she playfully comments back, "It's Catherine to you, baby."
And she posted a TikTok of them embracing, too.
Right. It feels highly produced, but at the same time, surprisingly intimate.
Well, it highlights a profound dynamic shift. You have a pop star asserting her legacy, and a former world leader willingly stepping into the role of the supportive leading man. But the real insight into their dynamic happened when the cameras were off.
Inside the theater.
Yes. During the screening, the movie suddenly blacked out.
A total technical disaster.
Right. The theater goes pitch dark. But instead of hiding or letting the energy die, Katy just stands up in the dark and yells, "What the F?"
Classic.
And then she just keeps the energy alive. She starts dancing and singing completely a cappella with her fans until the film actually resumes.
She turned an embarrassing technical failure into this electric, intimate moment. And Trudeau is just sitting right there, watching her command a room, not through political authority or a teleprompter, but just sheer charismatic force.
Exactly. It's a completely different kind of power, and it clearly affects him. But the emotional core of the night actually came later, during the Q&A session.
Oh, when she got vulnerable.
Yeah. She called 2025, quote, "one of the hardest years of my life." Which makes sense, given everything she was going through. But then she noted that Trudeau is the love of her life.
Wow.
Her exact quote was, "I fly super high. To have that anchor finally makes me feel really whole."
Okay, I have to push back on this a little, though. It sounds beautiful, this idea of him as the anchor. But look at the mechanics of his wife. How does a guy who used to run a G7 country suddenly pivot to carrying the train of a pop star's vintage gown?
It is a massive shift.
Right. Going from the highest, most globally consequential stakes imaginable to playing the supportive boyfriend role, doesn't his ego just shatter?
Well, that's the defining question of post-political life.
Right.
He stepped down as prime minister and Liberal Party leader in January 2025.
Right.
And when you leave that kind of office, the sudden absence of the spotlight can cause major psychological whiplash. By stepping into Katy Perry's orbit, he isn't losing gravity. He is simply transferring to a different planet. Her cultural footprint is arguably larger than his political one ever was.
It seems like a fairy tale, honestly. But what happens when supportive boyfriend duties clash with international loyalty? Because we'll get into the World Cup drama next.
Okay.
And hey, if you are loving these Hollywood twists, make sure you are subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead.
Yes. The friction between his past life and this present romance really ignited on June 14th, 2026.
The scheduling disaster.
Exactly. Trudeau is now navigating life post-politics, but the expectations are still there. On that day, Team Canada was playing its opening match against Bosnia and Herzegovina at the World Cup.
In Toronto, a massive point of national pride. And where is the former prime minister? Is he in Toronto waving the Maple Leafs? No.
No, he is not.
He is sitting in a stadium in Los Angeles for the United States opening ceremony, watching Katy Perry perform her hit Wonder before the USA versus Paraguay game.
The optics of a former head of state skipping a Canadian national milestone to be at a U.S. milestone are, to put it mildly, deeply complex.
I mean, I hear complex, but the internet backlash was brutal. People were relentlessly questioning his patriotism. And his response on X, formerly Twitter, was so incredibly casual.
He leaned right into it.
He did. He posted, "Sometimes supportive boyfriend duties call, but you know who I'm rooting for to take the cup." And he just added a little Canadian flag emoji.
It's a fascinating pivot, especially if we connect this to his earlier post-political appearances. Let's rewind a bit to January 2026 at the World Economic Forum in Davos.
Oh, the contrast here is staggering. Unpack the Davos speech for us.
Right. So in Davos, Trudeau gives this incredibly serious speech on geopolitical soft power and the Ukraine conflict. He made a fierce defense of Canadian sovereignty, explicitly pushing back against the idea of Canada being treated as the 51st state by the U.S.
And sitting right there in the front row, smiling warmly, is Katy Perry.
Exactly. The irony is heavy. In Davos, he's defending Canadian independence from U.S. dominance. But by June, he is literally skipping a Canadian milestone to cheer on an American pop star at a U.S. stadium.
So is he just abandoning his political legacy to become a full-time Swift and Kelsey-style influencer? Because we saw the breadcrumbs early on. He dressed up as Katy's viral left shark for Halloween.
Right, the Super Bowl meme.
Yeah. And then Katy posted a photo on X in a toy store wearing a shirt that just said crush. They're completely memifying their own relationship.
It is a total shift from hard power to soft power. In Davos, he's projecting hard power borders, sovereignty. By Los Angeles, he's relying entirely on soft power, which is influence through attraction.
And that's not even the wildest part. Later in the deep dive, we will talk about the shocking psychological twist to this relationship that absolutely nobody saw coming.
Yes, and that brings us to the analysis from the Walrus, which frames this whole relationship through the lens of power and PR. Because we have to remember, they were both at a transitional crossroads.
Definitely.
Trudeau had lost his office and was adjusting to the lack of a spotlight, but Katy was dealing with her own crisis. Her 2024 album didn't do well with critics at all.
Right. It totally fell flat.
Yeah.
And she was facing intense backlash over working with the controversial producer, Dr. Luke. It was a really tough PR moment for her brand.
Which is where this concept called the Kissinger effect comes in.
Okay, explain the Kissinger effect, because this is fascinating.
It's the idea that political power is the ultimate aphrodisiac. A Trudeau biographer, Stephen Marr, joked that this romance reads like a publicist's dream to keep them both relevant. The symbiotic PR value is massive. Trudeau gets this infusion of glamour and youth, and Katy gets elevated credibility.
Right, like suddenly you aren't just a pop star facing a backlash, you are partnered with a global statesman. It changes the narrative completely. But as much as people want to call this a PR stunt, the sources introduce the wildest theory I have ever heard. It's from a London portrait painter named Susie Malin.
The primacopulism theory?
Yes. Malin claims that people are subconsciously attracted to partners who physically resemble their first parental attachment of the opposite sex. And she points out this haunting physical resemblance between Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau's mother, Margaret Trudeau.
It sounds totally bizarre until you actually look at the photos.
Right. Malin specifically points to the shape of Katy's chin, the incredibly short distance between her nose and her mouth, and this very specific curved upper lip. She basically argues it's not PR, it's biological imprinting.
It's a really shocking read on the situation, but, you know, we can ground this by looking at what's actually happening behind the scenes. There is real familial integration happening here.
The kids are involved now, right?
Yeah, Trudeau's 18-year-old son, Ed Jiv, is an aspiring musician, and he actually regularly sends his songs to Katy for professional advice.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's not just a red carpet PR stunt. Their lives are deeply merging. And Katy is already smoothly co-parenting with her ex, Orlando Bloom, so she knows how to navigate blended families.
I think that's such a good point. People want to be cynical and call this a midlife crisis or just a calculated media play. But as relationship expert Wendy Walsh points out in the sources, having multiple long-term relationships over a longer lifespan is becoming totally normal. Why can't a politician and a pop star just be in love?
I completely agree. Stripped of the vintage gowns and the headlines, they're just two people navigating massive career transitions who found an anchor in one another. And stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next as we continue to track this evolving power couple.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up, what's the big takeaway here?
Well, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. As the lines between celebrity culture and political theater continue to blur completely, are we entering an era where the ultimate status symbol for a politician isn't a book deal or a board seat, but an A-list pop star partner? I mean, what does that mean for the future of global diplomacy if soft power completely overtakes hard power? It is definitely something to watch.
It really is. You have been listening to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.